Hi, ChickenboneJohn here. I'm just going to talk a little bit about these little things. Adjustable three-piece bridges or four-piece bridges for cigar box guitars. Just this last week I've seen people with a couple of problems with the string height being far too high on their guitars. Very high action, making them, impossible to play, and the intonation being out. This is a sort of typical guitar. This is a license plate guitar, but you know, it could be any cigar box guitar. It's 3-string, and we've got our humbucker pickup, license plate, and this 3-piece fixed bridge. Now, if you look at this, see if we can get this up here. The action up here, you know, on the 12th fret is round about 2.5 mil. That's just under 1/8 of an inch. It doesn't want to be any higher than that, about 1/8 of an inch, 3 mil. That's plenty low enough so you can fret it, and plenty high enough to be able to play slide without rattling on the frets. So the important thing is the height of the fretboard in relationship to the top of your guitar. And if you can see this, we've got a 1/4 inch fretboard, that's, you know, about 6 mil, and a gap of maybe 2 or 3 millimeters, maybe a little, yeah, about 3 millimeters between the underside of the fretboard and the top of the guitar. That means when my bridge is in here, the saddles, you can bring them down or you can bring them up. It's going to be properly adjustable. That's the whole height, whole idea of having one of these adjustable bridges, so you can set the intonation for length and also get the height right. Okie doke, so this is really important. If you do one of these guitars, and this neck is put in straight, it's got no back angle. I've seen 2 people building these guitars, and they've had enormously high string height, mainly because their fretboard has been down here, so that there's already about, you know, nearly 1/2 inch between the top of the fretboard and the strings. You need to move the neck up. Unfortunately, one of the ones I saw, the person had glued the neck in. Don't glue your neck in. Do what I do. This is fixed with just 4 screws. You know, the neck's running through here. It's just fixed with a couple of screws. 1 screw here and 1 screw here will do. You can take it apart, tinker with it, bring the neck up or down if you've not got it quite right. If you glue your neck in, you're stuck. Or if you break the neck, you know, the guitar's trashed. Here's one that that I'm putting together at the moment. Similar sort of thing. It's on Romeo and Juliet box, and this is going to have one of these bridges put in whereabout, you know, round about here, wherever it works out. And same sort of thing. See, the fretboard's riding over the top of the box. It's clear by only about 1.5 millimeters. This probably needs to, excuse me, be raised a wee bit. But you can see what's happening. If I just lay the bridge on the guitar here, oops, see if we can do this. Put a straight edge through. And you can see with my saddles set at about mid-height, I'm down to a couple of mil clearance at the top end of my fretboard. That's about where I want to be. And again, this one, it's just, here you go, that's the inside of it. We've got a block here, block at both ends, and a couple of little blocks here just to sort of make sure when the neck goes in, it keeps straight. And what I will be doing on this one, I'll be adding a couple of wings here so that my bridge has got something to screw down to solid. But that's just going to be put together, and we'll probably just have 1 screw here, 1 screw here, the neck's in. If I've got it wrong, I can always take it out and shim it or alter it. So that's my approach to doing it, and I've made, goodness me. No, I haven't lost count because I keep a careful count. This is 1,014 and we're way past that because I've been making guitars over the past weeks. This was made a few weeks ago, so we're into, I don't know, 1,100 guitars or whatever by now. And all of them have got this screw-in neck because the whole thing of repairability is really important, and especially for novice builders. You want to be able to take it apart, and you know, you need to tinker. You need to do this, what I call a dry fit. Have a look. This is just put together dry, no screws, no glue. You know, you place your parts on here. This is a really important thing. Also, always have the parts to hand. Don't build something if you haven't got the parts. Then I say, then we put the, you know, we put a straight edge across here to double check what it's like, you know, and that's going to be acceptable. Just a 5-minute job to do that. But then if you're dry building it, you know, you can take the thing apart before you do your before you're finally committed. But don't glue the neck in. You don't need it for strength. There's not much force involved on one of these 3-string necks. Just a couple of things, you know, you can see here where the neck is going through the body. It's nice and thick. This is 2 thicknesses of 22 mil. What's that? I don't know, in 3/4 or 7/8 inch piece of cherry by 35 mil wide, 36 mil wide. It's about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, whatever. And the other thing with these bridges, when you set the intonation on these little things, when you're measuring your scale length, you know you're going to be measuring to where the string is sitting on that saddle. That's your scale length. The scale, the actual practical string length is always going to be longer than the theoretical scale length. So if you've got 25.5 inches to here, it's never going to be any shorter. So you can confidently, if you set your saddles about like that, quite a long way forward, then you've got plenty of, you know, you've got about 1/4 inch play there, and you're not going to need that much. So you got that amount to play with. So you can always set your string length to the front of your saddle and then lengthen your string. It'll be longer than the theoretical scale length. Handy hint there. Never will it be any shorter. So you don't need to set your saddles in the middle position. Set them forward, measure to that. That's your starting point. Then you can extend these back. And the way this has come, you know, that's set in a sort of neutral position. I've not put the grub screws down. But yeah, as I say, this is the key thing. The relationship between the top and your guitar. You don't need to worry about angles. If you want to put an angle on, you can, but it makes it much more complicated. Make the fretboard parallel to the top, just like Leo Fender did with the Strat and the Telecaster and every other solid body guitar. And then it's just purely a matter of relationship with the height. You don't need to worry about angles. And as I say, this is about, you know, ideal. Just the thickness of your fretboard plus 1/8 inch should get you in the right ballpark. And then if you've screwed your neck in, nice and simple, it means you can tinker with it and alter it. The reason I'm saying this is because I've seen 2 postings this week with people using these neat looking bridges, but these require super accuracy in terms of placing your bridge when you fix it, in terms of the scale length, and more particularly getting the action right. They're not good for beginners. You're much better making a guitar with a conventional, excuse me, I say conventional, you know, that basic way of having the neck running through the guitar. But again, you'll see on this one, fretboard is higher than the top of the guitar. Then that means by the time we get to here where my bridge is going to go, we've got enough room for a decently high bridge. These are a lot more tolerable than, you know, because you can just cut your bridge height down or whatever. But same sort of basic principle with this. There's my neck going all the way through, double thickness, and you'll see my heel projects out here. So this weak point here where it's been cut down to fit through the box, I've got plenty of overlap, and then I've got plenty of room here to there's a box to chop down into this to take a pickup. Okie doke. If you've got any questions, message me or say, or go onto my website, and I'll, with pleasure give you a helping hand. Okay, bye for now.